Hello, everybody, and welcome to the See Me, Be Me podcast. Today, we have a very, very special guest, an award-winning motivational speaker known for her empowering messages and transformative teachings focused on the importance of emotional healing. She has been known as a beacon of hope and empowerment, someone whose story of resilience and transformation has touched many hearts. Not just an inspiration, she is a force for positive change. Her incredible journey from overcoming personal challenges to dedicating her life to helping others is nothing short of remarkable. She has faced adversity with unwavering strength and has emerged as a role model for many. She's passionate about empowering others and making a lasting impact in her community. We are thrilled to have the amazing Madiha Sosan. Welcome to the podcast, Madiha. No wonder you were an inspirational person. So yeah, I mean, I suppose talk about that. How did you, that whole process? Because you've not only won that award once, you've won it twice. How did you go about getting nominated for the award? Did you know that you were going to be nominated for the award? And what was it like winning the award? Well, twice you've won now.
Yeah, three times the podcast won an award as well.
Oh, three? Well, yeah. There we go. We said at the beginning, multi-award winning.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, like I said, I was doing that trauma work and it was opening up new opportunities. And on my second live talk, there was someone in the audience who knows the organizers of the awards people. So she ended up nominating me for Best Female, and that was the first year I won it. It was amazing. Like there were like Noreen Khan from BBC Asian Network, and she's a BBC presenter. She was there. I didn't even have a clue who she was at that point. I was like, who is she? Like I was like, everybody was like taking photos with her. I was like, who is she? And somebody's like, did you not know that's Noreen Khan from BBC Asian Network? I was like, oh, okay, I'll just get a photo, but I still don't know who she is. But yeah. I just went into what I was like. It was just, I don't know how I won it. I just won it. Like, it was like, well, I know it's like, I say that it's deep down. I've done quite a lot of work on myself, and trauma work is just like life gives you rewards for the efforts that you do, especially on yourself. The first time it was just incredible feeling because it's almost like a recognition, because I was doing all this work behind closed doors. I'm talking about it like it's an easy piece of cake thing, but it was hard. Looking at your trauma is hard work. Mm-hmm. And it was just such a nice way to get like a recognition from, I say universe, because I always say that I'm on universe's payroll. And it was amazing. When he called out my name, I like basically just ran to the stage, bouncing, went onto the stage, bounced on the stage, jumped on the stage, and I said, I have arrived. and that's it. And then I got nominated again the year after, and I won it. And then we went straight into lockdown, which was like, I was like, oh gosh, how am I supposed to help people now? Like, how am I supposed to go on stages? I was giving talks to over 300 people. How am I supposed to do this now? And then the podcasting thing came about, and then I started podcasting online in my room, in this room. And yeah, and then like last year it was nominated for the Best Podcast of the Year award, and it won because I was the amount of people I was attracting, like, influencers like Annalie Howlin and Rachel Alno, Mr. Bob Doyle, and Josh Connolly as well, who's amazing. I'm sure you might have met him through Krish maybe, but yeah, all these like big influencers just started coming on the podcast and started attracting, like I said, that internal work. If you want change on external world, you got to do the internal work.
Do the internal work.
Yeah.
No, this is. I'm lost for words. This is and this is probably one of the only podcasts where I am just truly just listening to everything, and I'm even reflecting on myself. And what is it that you're, if you're open to share, like what is it that you're reflecting on your life? What is it that's coming up for you? Sometimes I always feel like, you know what, I could have been well, I'm still young, but I could have been further than I am now. And that, let's say, I suppose I've just been young and naive and doing stuff that young people would do, let's say going out, being with friends. Whereas, you know what, I've seen I could have been doing things that have, you know, took the business forward and got to the heights that I wanted to get to, which I'm getting there now, but I could have done that 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And then sometimes I'd get frustrated with myself and just be like, oh, do you know what? Why didn't you do that? You were too busy faffing around and having a good time. Whereas, yeah, I suppose I didn't really sacrifice a lot when I was younger. Whereas, yeah, it's taken me a long time to realize a lot of that stuff I was doing back then, it didn't get me anywhere. And I was just felt like I was wasting time.
What if I tell you that you were doing exactly what you meant to be doing at that time? So
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
it's let me explain that. So see, we go through this evolution process, right? If you find that a lot of adults in their 30s and 40s are doing completely different things than what they were doing when they were younger. So a lot of these people that I've interviewed on my podcast as well have gone down the same path, where they, not the same path as you, but like similar generalized path, where they've had this stuff in their life and they've gone way beyond extreme to like drugs and alcohol or partying and all of that stuff, right? They needed to go through that in order for them to realize that actually that's not working for me. But that doesn't mean that you wasted a lot of time. You actually grown in that process, because if you didn't go through that, you wouldn't realize that you needed to do something else, right? So they've gone through a transformation. Now they're completely different people. And it's exactly the same as like for myself as well. Like for first 27 years, I did nothing. But what the adversity and me staying at home for 10 years and not being able to leave the house, I could sit here and say I wasted a hell of a lot of time. But that moment, I needed to be in that state, in that place, to grow, because now I'm actually realizing what I need to change and do, right? And I say this all the time in my interviews openly, that, you know, I'm grateful that, like, my dad passed away the way he did. I'm grateful my mom's ill, or I became a carer, or that anxiety and depression, because those are the things are going to help me to help other people. And like, wherever stage you are in your life, that's where you're meant to be. If you're a 40-year-old still partying, that's where you need to be. It's like it's growth. There's growth in everywhere if you choose to look at it, you know. So you being in that place, I've wasted so much time. It's not wasted. It's actually you needed to rest in that time and enjoy yourself, because the next half of your life is going to be completely different, very busy, very like on point, focused. But you know, that was a balance. Otherwise, if you were really busy and focused in your on those years and still busy and focused, you burn yourself out. Right? So and also you got to find a balance. So what I found on this journey is that there are times when I get really, really busy, and there are times when nothing is happening. And it's needed to be there, because, like, say 4 months this year, for example, we were in studios filming podcast series 5, right? And it was so busy. We were in and out, like busy, like no time to eat, sit, or whatever. And now it's like, because we're in an editing process, it's very like there's nothing. It's very slow, and my body's like, okay, that 4 months that you've just almost burnt yourself out. This next 3 months, 4 months, you're going to rest and recharge your batteries. It's almost like filling your own cup up. And then you go again. And once you get into that flow of life, you start understanding that we're not all meant to be working 365 days a week. We're supposed to be resting in between as well, giving ourselves time. If you can't do that, then try find an evening where you're giving yourself that. It's really important to, this is your body is like, if you're driving a car like every single day, it's going to break down at some point, right? So you have to like take care of it, take it to service. You have to take, good care of it, put petrol in and put like oils in and waters in and whatever you need to do in the car. That's how your body is. Your body is, physical body is your vehicle, and you got to look after it as well. So that time that you had was your downtime. Now you the second half of your life is going to be different, and you never know, like 5 years down the line, it's like, oh, should have done this. Okay, then do that. Like, that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Who made it.
I think people should be, and I think that's what's been missing for a long time in the education system, is that I think, what they say, the most creative people are 5-year-olds. And it's by the time that they get to 10 or 11, it's like the creativity is stripped from them, because we're putting them all down this same funnel hole of this education system, and trying to make basically the whole education system is about just passing exams, and that you lose a lot of that creative spark.
Yeah, even the household as well. Like, they say that the day you're born until the age of 7 is where you form an identity, and you form an attention. Yeah. And like when as soon as you, like, they're creative, because kids, seeing a life through lens of kids is like, there's no fear, playful, creative, and that's how it should be. We're scared to act like a child, like an adult playful child, because society's like, we have to be this way, a certain way, that's it. Whereas the kids, they get away with it because it's kids, right? But then they grow a bit older, and then their parents are like, no, you need to behave this way, you need to do this, you need to, and then they go into schooling system, and like, it's become like a factory. Like,
conveyor belt.
Yeah.
No, it has. And I think, maybe we should be tapping into our inner child.
Yeah.
Well, first talking to your inner child, but then tapping into it and just, doing stuff that you used to do as kids. It's like me and my friends will go for a bike ride, take the car, put the bikes in the back, go to some forests, whether in Cheshire or somewhere, and, we'll just go cycling. Do you think everything that happens in life happens for a reason?
Everything. So when I had the out-of-body experience, so one thing that I understood was that obviously fear, humans live with fear, and humans need to like dim down that fear and work on that fear. And the second thing is that 50% of what you experience, the main stuff, the big stuff, is already pre-planned. So, and my dad dying at this age was pre-planned for everybody's evolution. And so my dad's soul, my mom's journey, my journey, 50% is already pre-planned. But the other 50 is what we create ourselves in the world. So that would be, these are the things, that 50% that we have no control over. The other 50% is, whereas like we create our reality. If you look into law of attraction, we create our own reality. Positive attracts positive. What you think and who you are is going to attract. You're going to attract the same. So if you're hanging around people who are toxic or, not good for your soul or not good for yourself, then you're going to be binded in that. Right. And if your energy is like very bubbly, energetic and loving, you're going to attract more of those people in. So all of that is like 50% you create. So what's meant to be will be. And also what you can create will be meant to be. Do you know what I mean? So it's, you look at it that way. And I think that really, understanding that when I was in that state, now, everybody will have a different opinion on that. But what I understood is that these big events are meant to be in a certain way, certain time for you to evolve. So just when you're ready to evolve, something will happen where you have to evolve, and then something will happen, you have to evolve again. So everything is working. It's like everybody's playing a role in your life, you know. You're playing a role in this podcast. You're coming in, and this is going out to people. Whoever this podcast needs to go out to, it will just go out. Everything will work out how it should be. And if it, sometimes we get caught up, we want to control things. Like, no, I want it to work out this way. Not meant to be, but this way. I don't want to leave this relationship. I don't want to leave this job. This way, because it's your ego doesn't like change. You kind of let go of the control. It's like taking back seat, but still seeing the mirror ahead, seeing the path ahead, have goals and dreams, but letting life, universe, have faith that you will be taken to your destination, just not how you want it. It will be a completely different way. Things will come to you in a way where you don't expect it. Like, oh my God, like I do want this, but I actually thought I was going to get it this way.
Gosh.
You're like,
You just taken me off as being host. I'm just sat there pondering now as a listener. Gosh, I know a lot of that stuff. You know, it's the weirdest thing. It's like a lot of that stuff I've heard and I know, but I don't know. It's just probably hearing it again. I don't know. Well, this time it just resonates. I don't know. And now it has got me seriously thinking. And I hope as well with the audience that are listening, taking this advice on board, and even they're thinking and like, yeah, I think it's good to have that chat with the inner child, the inner soul. I just do some, whether it's deep meditation or whatever, and just see how you can improve things. Yeah, because of time. Look at that. I knew we were going to go over, but yeah, I think what we're going to do is we're going to head to the bonus part of the podcast. Okay. So, if you could throw a dinner party tonight and invite 3 people from the past or present, who would you invite?
So it has to be 3 people from the past and 3 people from the present.
Oh no, just 3 people from the past or present.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's not a fun question. That's a tricky question. Actually, you know what I would do? Like, I would invite my dad, one of them, from the past. Obviously, it's from the past. Well, and the present and the future. Who else would I invite? I would invite my best friend, one of my best friend, Haley. And I would invite, gosh, I know so many people. It's like hard to pick. Definitely not exes. Definitely not the goat in there. You know what? Let's for sake of it, Mr. Bob Doyle from The Secret, because I met him like yeah.
And how was that? How was that? Because he was on the podcast. How was that experience?
Oh, that was amazing. He's well known in terms of The Secret and personal development. He's so good, really good at what he does, and like has so much knowledge of law of attraction, rewiring your brain. Because what he said was, basically, most people think that you're living your life a certain way, and then you go into personal development and start changing yourself. It takes years. Think of it. You'll spend 30, 40, whatever, however long your life being a certain way to change yourself and rewire your brain into something else. It's going to take equally almost about the same years, because, all you ever known is a certain way, and it takes years. And people in personal development think that it's going to be overnight thing. It's not. It takes years on the journey, that you're always constantly changing and going back to the same habits and going back forward, I think that's one of my favorite interviews. He's really good. Really, really good at what he does. The way he explains it as well in his American accent, like it's like, how those Americans like Tony Robbins and everything. So yeah, he's one to watch out for. If you're listening to my podcast, listen to him. He's really good.
Oh, we're gonna have to give that one a listen. Was it longer than this episode so far?
Probably over 1 hour 30, 20 minutes. Similar.
Similar.
Yeah.
And I suppose the last question is, if you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh my God, I love that question because I used to, again, one of my other TV show was Charmed. So I used to watch
Oh yeah,
this.
Charmed, yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that. And it's like there's one of the sisters I loved where there's two of them. One of could orbit. No, it was, I don't know whether it was the sisters, but one of them could freeze or blow up, right? But we don't want to blow up, right? We want freeze. So I love that where you can freeze time and you do whatever you want to do, like like you're late for an appointment or something and you can just freeze time and just get there on time. That would be amazing.
Madiha, thank you so much for being a guest on the CBBME podcast. What I'm going to do now is give you the floor, give you a chance to plug yourself and plug any socials, website, and how can our audience get in contact or follow you?
Amazing. So I'm everywhere really. Instagram, Facebook. You can contact me on Instagram, Madiha Sosan 1. YouTube is where our podcast is, Madiha Sosan, and it's the podcast is called Soul Awakenings with Madiha Sosan. It's on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio, all those like important channels, basically. Yeah, that's it really. Facebook, Madiha Sosan. That's how you can contact me.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast, Madiha. We are literally, we're just 3 minutes under the record time with Bob Doyle, so we didn't quite beat that one.
It's all good. We're just about there. We were okay. Second place.
We're all right. We're all right. Second. I'll take second place. But no, honestly, no. This has probably been one of the. It's been a really great episode of the CBBB podcast, and it's really made me think internally and deeply about my inner self, which I haven't had to do with any of the other previous guests. So I want to say thank you, and I hope for the listeners it's the same thing as well. I'll have to tune into some of your episodes as well and listen to some of the previous guests. So thank you very much for that.
Thank you for having me.
Take it easy.
Bye.